Let's drill down on several things about next-gen hospitality and experiences and what I mean by that. Not too long ago, Eric and I went to the Galapagos Islands, and I highly recommend it for everybody. Very protected. It's a real wonderful experience. And something that we selected our agency and our cruise with was the quality of the local guides. So when we are in a foreign place and we want to learn and it's an educational format, the quality of the guide that you're spending time with is everything. And we were really delighted because the people that we had selected, incredibly knowledgeable, incredibly friendly, incredibly hospitable, incredibly protective of the environment, and warned us like, hey, don't step over there. And it's just really makes a huge difference. So to the extent that you have an offering that requires some hand-holding, some explanation, some education, some information, there's a right way to do it, which is, again, being involved, and then there's a wrong way where it's like, don't step on that, don't do this, and don't do that, and that's like not next-gen hospitality. So there's a fine line. A lot of the things that I'm sharing with you can be all the difference in a remarkable way, or if gone too far, and we've all seen this. I think there's an old adage about like a bartender. You have to know who wants to speak and who doesn't want to speak. It's the same thing when you have people in your residence or in your business, you have to sort of read that fine line. But the point is, try, learn, experiment, do something. If you get positive reward for it, try it again, deviate, always be improving, but try to guide, try to lead, try to enhance, try to add value at every step of the way so that they can't get this anywhere else. One area that a lot of individuals will take advantage of in next-gen hospitality is technology and technology breakthroughs. While we use technology to enhance guest experience and things like tablets and information and wayfinding and so on, keyless door entry and so on, it's not at the core of what we're doing. We're much more experience-based, and so the core of what we're doing tends to be outdoors and sports-related, as we've discussed, but there are plenty of other people who have this real opportunity to use technology to streamline everything and make it much more functional. And I think going forward, again, this channel is about next-gen hospitality. Technology will play a bigger and bigger role. And if you think about it, you fast forward, call it 50 years from now it's pretty obvious that technology is going to play an even bigger role, isn't it? So the earlier you can adopt it and figure it out and learn and experiment and use it intelligently to enhance somebody's experience, the further along you are and the bigger the moat is that you're creating from your competitors trying to enter. So technology and next gen is really a wonderful thing. I caution you though, don't make it impersonal. I don't want to interface with an AI bot. I don't want to interface with a robot. I don't want to interface with somebody who acts like a robot. It still has to be hospitality, but I love efficiencies. And in fact, if you call my cell phone, it'll tell you, please do not leave me a voicemail. I don't listen to voicemails. It'll instruct you to please send me a text. Why? Because that's asynchronous. It doesn't take a lot of my time. I can read it when I want. I can respond when I want. And so I use technology in my own life to make things faster, easier, quicker, and allow me to do it on my own terms as opposed to your terms when you happen to be calling me. So use technology intelligently. Another area for next-gen hospitality comes down to CRM, developing these relationships and knowing the preferences of your individuals. I made a video earlier on this channel that talked about my preferences. Well, I don't consume alcohol, so my preferences do not involve wine or champagne, which is traditional. My preferences revolve around Diet Coke or Coke Zero and ice, and like that's really a wonderful thing. So use technology to keep track of your guests and your guest experiences. What did they consume? What did they not consume? What went back? Like you had the chef meal, did everybody not eat the soup or the salad? Learn from these things and create and improve your offering while keeping track. And little things that really show that you're paying attention make a huge difference in developing a personal relationship. So for instance, if I had seen that somebody didn't touch their ice cream and then later learned that they were, say, lactose intolerant, I would make a note in my CRM and notify everybody that's coming in contact with them that they're not eating any lactose. So please don't give them ice cream, don't do this. And these little things, believe it or not, make a massive impact in making somebody feel seen and heard and special and unique and the one of one that you're catering to. So start to pay attention, start to document it, reference it when people come and check back in. And these little things, like if somebody were to leave me a Diet Coke when I walked into a hotel room and I knew that that was for me, I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be happy. It's a very small thing. It costs less than wine, but yet wine does nothing and a Diet Coke does everything. I'm not the only one that feels that way. So get to know your guests intimately and personally, keep track of it and reference it. This one's really important. This is the core of next-gen hospitality, is to drive emotion. Make people feel alive, make people feel like they're in peak state, make people feel like they're happy, make people feel like they're important. Go out of of your way to delight guests so that they really feel like they're in a place that's special and remarkable, and just really like turn up the humanity. We live in this world where people are, afraid to say things and afraid to act, and we're kind of like sterile and generic and plain vanilla and so on. And I think, like everything I've shared in the past, the pendulum swings in both ways too far. So there's too much personalization, and then it swings to too generic, and let's find the new equilibrium. And in next gen hospitality, it's going to definitely be more towards personalization versus like generic and plain vanilla. So get to know your individuals and customize their experience. So another area of opportunity for next gen hospitality is being eco-friendly and sustainable. We're playing with this right now. It's super important, and it's kind of like very challenging. It's very expensive, and the guest experience is actually worse. So like, I personally hate paper straws, and as much as I dislike plastic, just the plastic experience is better. So we're constantly looking to figure out how can we create a better experience that's sustainable, that's eco-friendly, that preserves the environment, something that we believe in very much and very strongly, and a lot of our guests are aligned as well. But at the same time, we don't want to be so eco-friendly and so sustainably oriented that it's like a bad experience. And so it's a trade-off, and we're early, but we're trying, and I recommend that you do as well. This next one is a really big one, which is about that community. You've heard me discuss time and time again about social and community, being a part of something that's larger than yourself. And so the proper way to do next gen hospitality is to create an environment where everybody's drawn for the same reasons, they're all coming for the same things, and then create opportunities for social engagement. Get people outside of their comfort zone, get people to interact, get people to interface and make relationships. It'll happen naturally, but some people are slower and take longer to warm up, and we're so like trained to be reserved and not ourselves that some people take longer. And so create these opportunities, whether it's happy hour or a party or a costume. I'll reference again CMH Heli. Every time I've gone, and I think this is a tradition, they'll create something which is like one of the nights, it's a dress up Halloween costume thing. And it's silly, and they have a whole closet where people go and they get dressed up, and it's kind of awkward and so on. But at the end of the day, it's breaking pattern, it's breaking routine, it's creating this opportunity for people to get outside of their comfort zone and create these like relationships and meet other people. So as you're creating these communities and creating these social events, create the opportunity for people to interact with one another and get to know each other. So by way of example, and I keep referencing my time at CMH Heli, every time I've been there, there's one night which is like dress up night. They have a whole closet, and it's filled with silly Halloween costumes and so on and so forth. And the first time I was there, I didn't feel comfortable. It was kind of awkward and so on. But believe it or not, it works. It breaks like the ice, and it encourages people to let their hair down and let loose and have more fun, be themselves and so on. And so these opportunities that are created, right? It didn't happen naturally. It was created, allow people to be more natural, be more receptive and responsive and human and engaging and so on. And so create these opportunities to break the ice so that these relationships are formed, and that, like you're adding value, not just lodging. You're adding value, you're creating relationships and experiences and drawing out emotions and making people feel alive. I mean, that's the whole point of next gen hospitality. So the final thing I would share with you is that you also have to measure, and you have to really be attentive to like what's working and what's not. I don't have a magic bullet where I can just say, do this and you're gonna make a fortune. But what I'm sharing with you are concepts that we've been refining and defining and seeing in real life and incorporating in our own hospitality program that we think are the basis for next generation hospitality. These aren't things that are like trendy. These aren't things that are one and done. These aren't things that, worked in this one location but don't work elsewhere. These are big major trends that I believe will be at the fore of hospitality going forward. So what we've seen and what we're experiencing right now is hospitality as it was defined basically like 100 years ago, right? You build a big hotel, you have as many keys as possible, you put in staff, you train the staff, they do their job, they knock on your door, they interrupt, they just ask you if everything's going well, and we consider that hospitality. The tenets of what will make hospitality beautiful and remarkable and wanted and desirable in the future are all around, I believe, humanity and emotion and feeling alive and connection and relationship and all of these things that are absent from the prior form of hospitality. And so the more we delve in and the more we measure and the more we quantify and the more we remark and the more we notate and the more personal we get, the stronger the relationship, the stronger the bond. Believe it or not, the stronger the profitability. You become less price sensitive, right? So I've shared with you that I really like Diet Coke. Do I really care if it's $1.59 or $2.09? No, that's what I want. And if I want a certain experience for kiteboarding or a certain experience experience for skiing and I can afford it. Do I really care if it's $1,100 or $1,400? No, I'll be happy to pay $1,400 all day long as I get A, B, C, D, E, and F, and I can't get that anywhere else. So it can be quite profitable to implement all of these things into your hospitality program and start thinking about the future. I'm very excited to share with you more and more examples of hospitality that I've received, do more reviews of locations that are taking part of these principles and sharing with you what it is that we're doing. So do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. What else do you think is important for Next Gen Hospitality as we define this space together and redefine the narrative of what hospitality is? And don't forget, the best is yet to come. We're just getting started, so let's go.